Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. All right, so I've been doing a lot of testing on this new StamSorc build. It took me quite a bit to get there with the layout of the abilities and how I wanted to set up the bars and trial and error, but we got it. Okay, so this is my new StamSorc build. And one thing I really like about this build is it's easily accessible to get all the components. We're using 2 overland sets, so let's go into it. First off, let's get into the character sheet. You're going to have 0 into magic, 6 into health, 58 into stamina. This is going to push our max health over that 30 with champion points, our max stamina up to 23. In Battlegrounds, we'll be at 22.5, somewhere around there. Stamina recovery at 21, magical recovery at 1279. On the bow side, our crit is 1919, our penetration is only 5.5, and our resistance is 15 and 14. Now, when we go back to the back bar, which is the 2H, you'll see our spell pen is 8, and our physical is 8. Same stats, 30, 23, 14, 12, and 18 on the recovery. We're going to be using Jewels of Misrule. It's very important that we utilize this food resource. I really am liking Jewels of Misrule more on these new, since the update, because you're going to get magical recovery. And for me to use my exchange, it really comes in handy to have that magical recovery and stamina recovery, and it's going to boost up our health. We're going to be using actually the Lover Mundus. We're going to use 1 divine piece to pump that up. If you want to go 2 divine, you can. That'll give you a little over 3. So that's going to be a personal decision for you. Let's go ahead and get into the sets here. We're going to be using Sword Singer. Why? Because we're using 2H abilities. So as you guys can see, though, on my character sheet, you'll see that my weapon crit is 35%. That's very important. It's very important why I wanted that critical rating. Very, 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 very important. Because when I use my critical surge, you'll notice that I'm not going to be using rally. And the reason why I want to use this, it's going to give me major brutality and major sorcery. So if I decide to switch out any abilities, I got my major sorcery. On top of it, while active, dealing critical damage heals me for 3,366 health every second. Rally's around 7,000. So this is going, and that's after the duration. It's a nice burst heal, but this burst healing is going to be more frequent. So I want to use critical surge in this build. Very, very, very important here. Okay, so once again, Sword Singer, it's going to be precise, glyphed with Oblivion damage. If you want to go powered, or if you want to go with a crushing enchantment for more pen, you can do that. I only wanted Oblivion because it ignores penetration, and it goes off the max health. So it's going to deal up to a maximum of 4,875. So I just was like, I'm going with the Oblivion. Precise. Now, what does Sword Singer do, and where do you get it? Okay, first off, it gives us max stam, weapon and spell damage. It gives us our critical rating, and then it adds 579 weapon and spell damage. I don't know why spell. I mean, I guess, but there's no spell in 2H. To our 2-handed abilities. So I don't have to worry about Clever Alchemist downtime or anything like that. What you see is what you get. But the best part about this is, now check this out. So you'll see that even buffed up, and I go in, we're at 416. But if we unequip and go back in, it's down to 2. Okay, so that is a huge, huge boon to the 2H abilities. Okay, I do have Sharpen, and if you wanted to use Sharpen instead of Precise, and let's say you want to go Rally, you can do that. and then that would throw your pen value up to 12. So I've kind of been testing it, and this is nice, don't get me wrong. Having the pen is nice, but then you'd be dependent on rally versus critical surge. So those are your options, okay? So going back on, so I do have both. We have the Master Perfected Bow, Nirnholm. Now, the reason this is Nirnholm is so I can get my weapon damage up higher, so my Resolving Vigor heals more. So I do use 2 damaging abilities to proc on the to set on the bar, but I definitely want my rally to heal for quite a bit. So that's why it's Nirnholm. If you want to go sharpen, you can. If you want to go precise, you can. With this build, you could even go decisive. Okay. The reason I like this, it gives me my weapon and spell damage, and increases your weapon and spell damage by 330 against targets affected by your poison arrow. I'll show you guys that in a minute. Okay, the Engine Guardian, Divine, Max Stamina. Light, right? So I'm going to have 2 lights in this build, and it's very important that I have 2 lights for 2 main reasons. First off, we're going to get a critical rating by an additional 439, and we're going to get that penetration by 1878. But on nice of it, we also get right here, Grace reduces the cost of sprint by 3%. So that's going to be really a necessity with this build, especially because you're going to be moving a lot. So reducing that cost with well-fitted adds up. Okay. So we're going to go light, heavy in their second set. Our first set is Curse. Our second set is Curse of the Dragon. This is reinforced max health. Now, why this set? First off, it gives us magic recovery. It gives us 4% healing taken, gives us max health, adds health recovery, and reduces the cost of ultimate abilities by 15%. Now, my main ultimate is going to be Dawnbreaker of Smiting for the stun. But notice the cost, 90. The reason being, Sorcs, Power Stone reduces your cost of your ultimates by 15%. So we're getting a 30% reduction towards our ultimates at all time. Reducing our Dawnbreaker of Smiting down to 90. That's why I said you could go decisive on the bow. You can generate more ultimate, thus firing this faster. Okay? Really, really nice. Alright, so that's why we're using Curse of the Dragon. We're using the Dragon set, Akaviri Dragon. Now, this set you get in Alakir, and the Dragon set you get in, I want to say Rift. Let's make sure. Sets. No, East March. You're going to get that in East March. So you can farm them up. You can either go to a vendor and buy them from players, or you can actually... Now, I use this on my StamSorc tank build in my Nightblade tank. It's a great set, the Akaviri Dragon. But if you want to farm it up, you can farm it in East March, and you can go to Alakir for the Swordslinger set. So 2 overland sets. Pretty accessible. Really, really accessible. Engine Guardian Epilots, well-fitted light. So we're going to reduce that sprint further and reduce the roll dodge. Swordslinger Belt, well-fitted. Max Magicka. Swordslinger, well-fitted. Max Magicka. Greaves of the Dragon, reinforced, max health. Swordslinger Boots, well-fitted. Max health. We need a little bit of health. Necklace of the Dragon infused, stamina recovery. I know I ran out of Akuda. It actually should be a lot more. Should be around 255. So we're going to use 3 pieces of the Dragon. Infused stamina, and we want 1 health with stamina recovery. If you want to, I should purple this out, but they're hard to come by. So I do need to upgrade it. But yeah, so there's the sets. So let's get into the skills. Bow bar, I went over it. Critical surge, definitely a must-have. If you, like I said, if you want to go sharpen and you want to use rally, you can do that. You would just switch around ability to slot it. Poison injector for the master bow, for the proc. That's definitely going to help. I'll show you guys that in a second. Resolving vigor. Now check this out. Once I buff up and I come in because I got the Nernholm, we're going to do heal for 15,350 over 4 seconds. Really a game changer. Okay, but we're going to have the Nernholm for the scaling for the damage too. So when we swap. Alright, so then we also have a Dark Deal. You're going to be Dark Dealing quite a bit with this build. I'm not going to lie to you because you don't know what Engine Guardian's going to give you. That's why you want high-end Magicka Recovery. So if the Guardian gives you Magicka Recovery, you can recoup with the Dark Deal. Plus, it has a nice healing factor of 8,255. So you add this, and Crit Surge, you have a very amount of sustainable healing. Plus, we got another heal, and I'm going to show you that in a second. Okay, and then, of course, our Hurricane. And because we are going to be using Crit Surge, our ulti on the bow bar is going to be Summon Charge Atronach. We get a nice stun from him. He's a little bit more than the Dawnbreaker, but it's a nice range ability that we can go ahead and set. Plus, we get that damage modifier into Storm Calling with Capacitor. Right here. Energized, dealing 5% more shock damage. Okay, so really good. Now the 2H. We're going to be using Stampede. And I hate to say this, I don't like cheese, but this is cheese, but you're going to need it for this build. You're going to Rune Cage. So basically, you want to go ahead and stun them. As soon as you cast this, you close in. Now notice that Stampede's always going to be a critical strike, thus giving you your health from critical surge. So you're going to get an automatic heal just charging in with Stampede. Plus, we're also going to get a heal from Rune Cage in Dark Magic. Now, we're going to get a spell crit right there, too, with Exploitation. Right here. Blood Magic. When you hit an enemy with directly applied Dark Magic ability, you heal for 3,113. So, if you're a quarter of a health down and you got... and you're a little worried, turn around, Rune Cage them, and then Stampede on them. And then you're going to basically heal for a little over 6k. Just to do those two things. So casting 2 abilities is going to heal you. Yeah, that's pretty good. So once you go ahead, Rune Cage them, and you Stampede... And I'm not very good at Dizzy, and I'm going to show you a glitch in the game. This ability is busted. You can animation cancel this ability. They said animation canceling is gone. No, you can clip it. You can clip Dizzy Swing to reduce that that 0.8 down to about a 0.4, about half. And I was like, this is busted. They're like being able, yeah. It totally is busted. Now, if you hit them twice with it, once it's going to set them off balance. Off balance is going to increase your damage against them. A second time, if they're not stunned or immune to stun, you're going to be able to stun them. Now, I'm going to use Reverse Slice versus Executioner. The reason being, a lot of times people are paired up. So if I stun the one and I start beating on him and I go into finishing mode, if I use Reverse Slice versus Executioner, it does an AoE damage. So that 77% of the damage is going to get applied to the person within 5 meters. And of course, we want Camouflage Hunter for 2 reasons. If we hit him from the backside, we're going to get the Minor Berserk, but we're also going to get our Major Savagery, thus increasing our critical damage, which is important because of the critical surge. And of course, Dawnbreaker of Smiting for our additional stun. So yeah, now let's go ahead and get into this really quick. I'm just going to finish this up and show you guys this. Okay, so if I just was to use, you'll see this pause. But now, after I cast it and I use a light attack, you'll see it goes a lot faster. Where if I keep doing this, there's a hefty pause with a follow-up. So he kind of launches off his legs. Where if I do the light attack, I can get multiple off without the... So it's glitched. You can cancel it. It shouldn't be like that. It should actually cancel when you hit the light attack. Channels are supposed to usually cancel out when you light attack. But unfortunately, this one's bugged. Now, I want you guys to notice what my damage is. So we do 9-4, 9-4, 15-2 when he's off. Now watch when I add this. 9-9, 16. So by using the poison injector on him, we're going to deal a lot more damage. Okay? I wanted to show that one off too. So there it is, my new StamSorc build. I usually have a name for this, but I couldn't think of one. Because I was just like, I was just like, oh my gosh, you know, this is actually good. Now, you want to use the mole pots with health too. Now, usually one of the best ones is the one with stamina, recovery, health, and immobilization. Of course, I'm out because I PvP'd a lot. So if you're going to use a pot and you're low on resources, now you can use tripods, but I don't think you really need a tripod. You got enough healing. So I was working on the tripods. I was even going with, now so you want major fortitude and major endurance. So this is it, the essence of mobility. So you're going to get immune to knockback, health, and you're going to get your major endurance. Now if you're low on them, then a good substitute is the Alliance Health Draught. You can get on the PvP vendors. Okay, and there you guys have it, said and done. My new StamSorc build, and oh yeah, it's nice. It's very nice. As always, I'm Mr. Craven. This is Mystics MMOs. Have a good one, y'all.